Mike Pompeo is the former Secretary of State and a Fox News contributor. All right, your reaction tonight?
Well, Jesse, thanks for having me on. Boy, that was a trail of foolishness.
Sure
trail
was.
of foolishness from the administration. It was absolutely ungrounded in the reality that the American people are living. You described it. The folks that you interviewed laid it out pretty clearly. The things that matter to the American people are their kids being safe, taught the right things in school, the fact that they can afford food for their children. Those are the things the American people care about. And the good news is, Jesse, I have to tell you, when you see the polling data and you talk to folks around this country, they get it too. They are looking for a big change. I'm confident they're going to bring one in November. They're not buying what the Biden administration is selling.
So why are they selling that? I mean, Joe and the Democrats have to know this identity politics thing's not working for them. Why do they keep doubling down on it? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think the president doesn't really understand the magnitude of what's taking place here in the United States of America. I think the entire team around him is so left, so woke, so disconnected from the things that matter to the American people that all he hears in his little circle, whether that's up at his house in Delaware or sitting in the Oval Office for a few hours a day, I think what he's hearing is exactly the opposite of what you and I have been talking about tonight. And so he doesn't get it. He's not about to be nimble and pivot and go back to what matters to the American people. He's going to keep pressing the agenda of the leftists that elected him and hope that he can hang on for the last 2.5 years and to tell the American people, yes, this was the greatest 4 years in America, when in fact the American people can see this is one of the most dangerous 4 years that we've experienced.
I agree. And I'm wondering if it's because they're so disconnected because of COVID. They all isolated and they didn't go out and talk to anybody. And then they just stared at Twitter and thought Twitter was real America. And that's why they don't understand the country. You think that's what it is?
They do live in that little bubble, Jesse, although I guess not enough of a bubble given that Dr. Fauci got COVID this week as well. Maybe a little more of a bubble. Maybe a little more of a bubble would have served them well. No, they literally, that's a feedback loop. It's an internal little circle. You can see it with the remarks of Speaker Pelosi there, right? She goes to a drag queen event and says, this is what's the greatest thing about America. The American people get that that's just being gaslit. They know what's great about America. The founding ideas, our families, our central institutions, our ability to practice our faith. Those are the things the American people are focused on. They want to take care of their families, feed them, drive their kids to soccer games, all of that good stuff. These folks are disconnected, and I think that they sit in that little bubble inside of Washington, D.C., inside the Twitter sphere of the left progressives, and think, boy, we're just doing great.
Yeah, they're pandering to about that much. Pander to everybody. How about that? How about you pander to America? That would be much better.
Yes.
My favorite thing of the night when the woman says, January 6th hearings, I can't watch my shows. All right. Mike Pompeo, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on tonight, sir.
Coming up, we have some advice for the newly revamped CNN.